The room was tense. A wealthy businessman, a millionaire with his own skyscraper office, leaned back in his chair, smiling arrogantly. In front of him stood his maid, an ordinary woman, nervous, unsure, holding a piece of paper. The millionaire leaned in, mocking her. "Translate this and my salary is yours," he sneered, handing her a foreign document. "But if you fail, consider your job gone." What happened next was far more than just a language challenge. It was about dignity, self-worth, and a fight against the invisible chains of racism. Stay with us to see how this bet unfolded and changed both their lives forever. The maid's name was Clara. She wasn't just anyone. She was a hard-working woman, smart, proud, and determined. She had come from humble beginnings, raised in a small neighborhood where dreams seemed far out of reach. But Clara knew one thing. She was capable. She had put herself through school, learned several languages, and earned the job she had now. Her employer, Mr. Parker, was a man of power, arrogance, and privilege. He never saw Clara as more than a maid, his cleaner, his helper. It was a busy morning in his office, and the cold, metallic walls reflected his icy demeanor. He looked down on Clara as she entered, her uniform modest, her eyes respectful, though her heart silently screamed for fairness. She was here to do her job, but today things would take a turn. Mr. Parker had always belittled her, making subtle comments about her place, her accent, and even her education. He never took the time to truly see her as more than a hired hand. But today, Clara had had enough. When he offered her the translation challenge, something inside her sparked. Clara was used to these challenges, people doubting her, questioning her abilities. But what Mr. Parker didn't know was that Clara wasn't just any maid. She had seen the world. She understood its languages. She knew its injustices. And as she stood there, a feeling of quiet confidence washed over her. She was going to show him something he would never forget. Clara took the paper with a steady hand. The text was foreign, but her mind quickly began to process the words. Mr. Parker, watching her every move with a smirk on his face, didn't think she would be able to do it. In his mind, she was just the maid, nothing more. But as she translated the words, Clara realized something shocking. The document was filled with racial slurs, demeaning language, and veiled threats. It was a memo from a business associate of Mr. Parker's, and it was clearly intended to be kept secret. As she read, Clara could feel her blood pressure rise. This wasn't just an ordinary translation. This was a personal insult, a reminder of how society saw her, not as a person, but as a tool to be used. Her hands shook, but she kept translating, word by word. The more she read, the more her anger grew. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. The blatant disrespect, the hatred. It wasn't just aimed at her. It was aimed at anyone who didn't fit into the millionaire's world of privilege and power. But Clara knew this moment could be her turning point. She could give up, walk away, and let the cycle of injustice continue. Or she could do something that would shake the foundation of everything Mr. Parker believed in. As Clara finished the final sentence of the translation, Mr. Parker leaned forward, eager for her to speak. "Well," he asked, his voice dripping with amusement. "Are you going to make me rich?" Clara paused. For a moment, the silence in the room was deafening. Her heart raced, but her mind was clear. She slowly folded the paper, placed it on the desk in front of him, and locked eyes with Mr. Parker. "You don't get it, do you?" she said quietly. "This isn't just a translation. This is what people like you think of people like me." Mr. Parker laughed, a loud, arrogant sound that echoed off the walls. "What are you talking about?" he scoffed, thinking she was just bitter. But Clara wasn't bitter. She was stronger than that. She stood tall and spoke the words that would change everything. "I'm not your maid. I'm a person. and you can't treat people like this and expect them to stay silent. In that moment, something shifted. Clara's words, calm but powerful, hit Mr. Parker harder than any document could. His smile faltered, his jaw dropped, and for the first time he looked at her, not as his employee, but as a person who had just exposed the ugliness of his privilege. The room was still. Mr. Parker didn't know how to respond. He had never been confronted like this before. Clara, however, felt a sense of peace that she had never known. It wasn't just about winning the bet. It wasn't about money. It was about dignity. In the days that followed, Clara's actions sent ripples through the office. Whispers of what had happened spread quickly. Some employees applauded her bravery. Others tried to distance themselves from the situation. But the truth was undeniable. Mr. Parker, for all his wealth and power, was left alone with the uncomfortable truth about his treatment of others. And Clara? She didn't need the salary. She had earned something far more valuable, her own self-respect, and the respect of those who finally saw her for who she truly was. The story of Clara's courage was shared, inspiring others to speak out against the subtle racism they faced. It was a reminder that no one should ever be silenced, that racism, no matter how subtle, has its consequences. And when we stand up against it, we can change the world, one act of defiance at a time. So ask yourself, how often do we allow racism to go unnoticed, ignored, or dismissed? And what will it take for us to stand up and say enough is enough?